In life, you pay with one of two things: time or money. That's it. Every decision, every opportunity, every business, every relationship, every skill you want to learn, there is always a price. Sometimes the price is money, but sometimes the price is time. But here's the part that most people don't understand. Money can come back. Time doesn't. And the older you get, the more painful that truth becomes. Because when you're 20 years old, 1 year feels like a lot, but mathematically, it's 1/20th of your life. But when you're 60, 1 year is 1/60th. It moves differently. And you feel time differently. You start to understand that life is not just about making more money. It's about becoming much more intentional with where your time goes. And I think this is where most people misunderstand business. They think business is about making money. It's not. Money is the measurement. Time is the real game. Because if your business makes money but takes all of your time, you have not built any freedom. You have built a job with more responsibility. And that is where so many experts, creators, coaches, consultants just get stuck. They have knowledge, but they have experience, they have something valuable to teach, but they are still paying for growth with time. Posting every day, sending messages, jumping on calls, going to networking events, trying to get invited to podcasts, trying to be everywhere. And in the beginning, that works. Because when you don't have much money, you have to pay with time. That is normal. You learn what the market wants, right? You get your first clients, you build proof. That is the price of entry. But here's the framework. I want you to understand, I call this the time leverage ladder. And this is how I believe you actually create your breakthrough online. Most people build their goals around money. I want to make, 10,000 per month. I want to make 100,000 or whatever that is, 1 million. And there is nothing wrong about financial goals, get me right, but money is a lagging indicator. So money comes after value. I think a better ladder is not based on how much money you make, but it's based on how many people you can help and how much of your personal time is required to help each person. That is the real measurement. Because the first level is simple. Can you help one person manually? Not with a funnel, not with automation, not with a perfect brand, just one person. Can you sit with them, understand their problem, and help them move forward? This is where most people, want to skip the work. They want to automate before they understand. They want to scale before they have actual proof. But in the beginning, your time is not the problem. Your lack of truth, that's the problem. So you pay with time to find the truth. That's how it should work. You help one person, then you help 10, and when you help 10 people, your job is not just to deliver value. Your job is to notice the pattern. So what do people keep asking? And what explanation do you repeat again and again? That repeated problem is not annoying. It's the business. And that is the part most experts miss. They think that, hey, I keep having to explain the same thing over and over again. Good. That means that you found something worth packaging, right? So level 3 is where you turn that repeated explanation into an asset. It could be a guide, it could be a checklist, a video, digital product, a course module, something that can help someone without needing to explain it live every single time. This is the first real shift. You're no longer just, spending time, you're turning time into assets. Then level 4 is where you build a trust system around those assets, because an asset alone is not enough. People need to spend time with your thinking before they trust you. So now you create the journey. A short clip, gives them a first insight. A YouTube video gives them your perspective. A longer training or live session, gives them belief. And then a case study gives them proof. Then you have email sequences to keep, the relationship alive. And then, for example, a webinar that shows them the full opportunity. So I'm talking about the path where the right people can spend more and more time with your ideas before they ever speak to you. And then, only then, do you go to level 5. Paid distribution. So this is where you use money. This is where ads make sense. Not because you're desperately trying to force a broken offer to work. You use money to distribute something that already has proof. Something that already solves a problem. And if you build it correctly, part of that ad spend can be recovered and recouped through a front-end offer. That is what I call self-financing ads. So you are not just buying clicks, you are buying attention, you're buying data, you're buying leads, you're buying buyers, and if the system is built correctly, you are buying back your own time. That is the ladder. One person helped manually, 10 people helped until you find a pattern, 100 people helped through an asset, 1,000 people reached through your first trust system, and then 10,000 people or even more reach through that paid distribution. And at the top of the ladder, your time is protected. Not because you disappear, not because you
automate all humanity out of the business, but because your time is finally used where it matters the most.
In the transformation, in the strategy, in the implementation, in the moments where your presence actually, changes the result. And that, my friend, is the difference between someone who is busy and someone who has leverage. A busy person helps people only when, they are present. A leverage person builds an asset that help people even when they are not. And this is the shift. You should not need to sell and market one person at a time forever. That is bad math. And most people never break through online because they are doing the wrong things manually. So they are not stuck because they lack potential. They are stuck because they don't have enough focused time to build a system that would eventually give them more time. And that is the trap. You're too busy to build a thing that would make you less busy. This is why your business model matters so much. A bad funnel requires you to constantly chase people. A good funnel lets the right people spend time with your ideas before they even speak to you. And that is the part I want you to really think about. Like, trust is not built instantly. When someone watches a 30-second clip on Instagram, they are paying with 30 seconds of attention. That is a small trust. But when they watch a 10-minute YouTube video like this, they are paying with 10 minutes of attention. That is more trust. And when they watch a full breakdown where they see how you actually think and work, now they're paying with serious time. And when someone has spent enough time with your ideas, your values, your process, your proof, the way you act and do things, buying from you will no longer feel like a risky decision. It will feel natural. Time spent with your thinking, that is the asset. Because when people spend time with your thinking, they start to understand, how you see the world. And if your perspective is strong enough, they will start to trust you. This is also why so many people are wrong when they say people don't buy because my offer is too expensive. I mean, maybe, but often that is not the real reason. Often, they don't buy because they haven't spent enough time with the problem. They don't see the cost of staying where they are. They only see the cost of the offer. And when someone only sees the price but not the transformation, everything feels expensive. This is literally what changed everything for me, because I stopped thinking about business as just products and sales pages. I started thinking about business as a time system. So how do people spend 30 seconds with me? How do they spend 2 hours watching something that I actually do my thing? And that is a completely different way of looking at growth. Because now you're not just creating content, you're designing a journey. In the episode I recorded with Katarina Filippa, this is exactly what we built. They already had expertise, they already had a course, they already have, something valuable. But instead of telling them to just post more, hustle more, run ads straight to the main offer, we started building a system around the things that they already had. A free entry point, paid digital product, a course, follow-up sequence, and a journey, a customer journey. The real breakthrough is this. Can you turn what you know into something that creates value without requiring your constant presence? Can you package your expertise in a way that lets strangers become leads? Leads become buyers, and buyers become believers, and those believers become clients. Because if you can, your business no longer depends on only your time. You start to experience what freedom actually feels like. Not the fake version, not sitting on a beach with a laptop pretending, that life is perfect, but real freedom. The freedom to choose where your best hours go. So when you think about your own breakthrough online, start by asking, where am I currently paying with time when I should be building an asset? Because your breakthrough will probably not come from one viral post. It will come from when you finally understand how to turn your time into assets. And then use those assets to create trust at scale. That is the game. You either pay with time or you pay with money. One of them you can get back. The other one is gone forever. So choose wisely and build accordingly.